My name is Michele McLaughlin, and I'm a pianist and composer. I've released 14 albums to date, and Waking the Muse is my newest release. The first track, which is the title track on the album, is just about being completely uninspired and feeling non-creative. After I released my album Breathing in the Moment, everything I sat at the piano and tried to compose and everything that I was playing just felt so lacking and empty, and I really felt as though I had lost my muse. But then I ended up having an amazing experience in the summer of 2012. I went on tour and I had a chance to play for people that had been wanting me to play for them for a long time, and just the opportunity to meet the fans and just get out there was so energizing and exciting that I ended up feeling completely re-inspired and re-energized to begin composing again. Radiance is actually a piece that I began composing while on tour in the summer of 2012. I started composing that piece on multiple different pianos, and it's actually the pivotal piece that sort of reignited my creativity and woke up my muse. And when I play that song and when I think about that song, it just reminds me about how aglow I felt on the whole experience of touring and getting out there and meeting the fans. A Beautiful Distraction is about all of the different hats that we wear as independent musicians. And, you know, we play piano and we compose, but we're also bookkeepers and accountants and web designers and all these different hats that we wear. And while I'm in my office working on, you know, the everyday mundane tasks of things that I should be working on from the business sense, what I really want to be doing is sitting at my piano composing music and playing my songs and practicing. And so that's where A Beautiful Distraction comes from, is just the music is what pulls me away from the other tasks, which really is just a beautiful thing. Spiritual Awakening is about a morning on an Alaskan cruise that my sister and I took, where we cruised up the Tracy Arm Fjord. And that particular morning it was raining really lightly, and there were little waterfalls all over the mountainside. The water was this incredible color of blue that I can't even describe. There were icebergs floating in the water, and it seriously was like the most profound, beautiful, peaceful experience I've ever had. Humbled is just a very reverent piece that reminds me of how small we are in such a giant universe. And even though we're so tiny, we have these incredibly important parts to play. And it's just a very humbling piece for me. Misty Fjords is about a seaplane adventure that my sister and I took while on our Alaskan cruise last year. And I'm terrified to fly, but my sister wanted to do this seaplane ride, and so I was brave, and surprisingly, I was completely at peace and very calm in the plane. And the scenery was just so stunning. We flew over mountain peaks, and we flew over waterfalls and lakes and in the fjord, and then we landed on a little lake out in the middle of the wilderness, and we got out and we stood on the pontoons and just listened to nature, and it was just so beautiful and so magical. And so I wanted to write a song that reflected what it's like to fly in a seaplane over the Alaskan mountains. Interlude is just a small, very short, tender piece that I didn't really feel needed to have a story. It was just a piece that I put in the middle of the album to kind of just segue from the beginning to the end. And I really didn't think that this song needed to have a story, so I just ended up calling it Interlude, and I think it's perfect that way. Gratitude is about being just so incredibly grateful for all of the wonderful things that have been happening in my life the last few years, with friends and family and my music and my career. And I wanted to write a piece that would reflect just that overwhelming sense of gratitude that I feel. Until We Meet Again is a piece that I wrote right after I found out that my uncle passed away last year. And he was a huge inspiration for me. He was a drummer and a musician, and we used to have these long conversations about music. And I really admired him and looked up to him. And so when he passed, I wanted to write a song that, would be dedicated to him in memory of him. The Little Red Bird is just an improvisation that I did one day while sitting at the piano, and I looked out the window. There was this little red bird just hopping and playing from branch to branch on the tree outside my window. And as I would play, he would hop and listen, and when I stopped playing, he would fly away, but when I started playing again, he would come back. And it was almost as if he was actively listening to me. So as he was doing this, I watched him, and I began to improvise this piece. Torn is my heartbreak piece. It is about the struggle between the mind and the heart, and having feelings for a friend, where I know that the friendship is perfect the way it is, but emotions get in the way, and it's just about that struggle between, feelings and friendship. Unrequited Love is sort of the sister piece to Torn, and it is simply just about being in love with somebody who doesn't return that same sentiment, and how incredibly painful and hard that can be. Dangerous Obsession is an angry piece that I composed after a friend did some things to damage and ultimately ruin our friendship. And I was sitting at the piano one day letting my aggression out on the keys, and before I knew it, I was composing this song, and it really is just an expression of my hurt and my anger and my feelings of betrayal over the loss of this friendship. Waking the Muse is available on my website, as well as iTunes and Amazon. You can also listen to it on Pandora Radio, iTunes Radio, Whispering Solo Piano Radio, and Spotify. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and sign up for my mailing list at www.michelemclaughlin.com. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video, and I hope you enjoy the album.